Hello, children. I hope you are fine and safe. So, today we are going to start with the morphology of flowering plants. So, this is a new unit that we are going to start today. So, what is morphology? Morphology means it is the study of the external appearance or the form or structure of the plants or animals is called morphology. So in this unit we are going to discuss about the morphology of the flowering plants alone. So let us see what is in the content. Now let us see the definition of morphology. So morphology is the branch of biology that deals with the form, size and structure of various organs of the living organism. So as I told you, it is the branch of biology and it deals with the form, external form, size and structure of any living organism. It may be plants or animals. So what is meant by plant morphology? So plant morphology is also called as phytomorphology. So it is the study of the physical form and the external structure of the plants. So we saw the definition of what is morphology and what is plant morphology. So now we are going to see the types of plants. What are the different types of plants that is present? So plants is divided into herbs, shrubs and trees. First type is herbs. So herb, it is a very short plant with green and delicate stem. The stem won't be very strong. It will be very soft and weak and the plant is green in color. And generally they have only a few, one or two branches or no branches, and they can be easily uprooted from the soil. So such herbs, the roots can be seen on the top of the soil itself. It won't go deep inside. Since they are very small plants, the root will be present over the soil itself. The examples of herbs are wheat, paddy, cabbage and grass. So these are the examples of herbs. Here are the pictures of the herbs. So we have paddy, wheat and cabbage. So all of them are green in color and their stem is very delicate. Next type is shrubs. So shrubs means that plants which have many thin woody stems are called shrubs. So these stems would be a little stronger when compared to herbs. So here one or two woody branches are present and these shrubs live for many years. Example, hibiscus, lemon, rose. So these are some of the examples of shrubs. Here are the pictures of the shrubs, the rose and the cherry plant. Here you can see the stem formation. It is not too broader or too narrow. So it is somewhat woody in structure and many branches are present. The third type is trees. So these trees, they are very tall and the stem is very broad. They are very hard and woody stem. So you would have seen trees around you. So you know how a tree will be. And the stem of the tree is called as trunk. And the trees also, they live for many years. Example, coconut, mango, banyan and willow. So these are some of the examples of trees. Next, we are going to see about the parts of a flowering plant. This is the picture of a flowering plant. So it is mainly divided into shoot system and root system. So below the soil, the root area is called as root system and above the ground it is called as shoot system. So in the shoot system we have the flower, a terminal bud. A bud present over the end is called as terminal bud. A node is present, an internode is present, a terminal bud again is present, and a shoot, the stem, the branches are present. So inside the leaf, if you see, means the blade, petiole, these are all the parts of the leaf that is present. And in between also we may find buds, so they are called as axillary buds, and the stem is present. So these are the different parts of a flower. And finally, roots, if you see, means in case of taproot we have the center primary root and lateral roots will come. So here in the picture, taproot and lateral roots are present in the root system. Next is root system. So most of the plants, they have root and a shoot system. Only then the plant can function properly. So the root system, it will be generally underground and it grows normally into the soil, that is positively geotropic manner, that is towards the direction of the gravitation the root grows. So it is known as positively geotropic manner, and it is developed from the radical of a embryonal axis. So from the embryo, the root arises from the radical point. So that is what is mentioned here. Usually roots are non-chlorophylls. They do not have the green pigment called chlorophyll, and the root is usually brown colored. So if you would have seen a root, you know how it will look like. In dicots, if you see, means the radical will develop into a taproot. So as I told you, taproot means it will have a primary central root, and from that lateral roots will be arising. Whereas if you see in monocots, the radical will be very short lived. It won't be there for many days, and after that what happens, it disintegrates, it destroys, and many identical roots will develop from the base of the stem. So what happens, many small fibrous root will grow instead of the primary root and lateral root. Since the radical disintegrates, it many hairs will form from that, forming the fibrous roots. So the roots, it helps in fixation, to fix the plant to one place. For that, root is being very helpful, and for absorbing water, minerals, for all those things, for nutrient supply, this root is used, and it is positively geotropic and negatively phototropic. That is, phototropic means the direction towards the sunlight. So since it is going inside the ground, it is called as negatively phototropic, and since it grows towards the direction of gravitation, it is known as positively geotropic. And these roots, they are non-green in color, and there is no nodes, there is no internodes, and they are endogenous. Endogenous means it will always grow from an organism, that is from the embryo the root develops. So they are endogenous. The next is shoot system. It is generally known as aerial. That is the topmost part is called as aerial, and it has a stem, a system of branches and leaves. So the shoot system, it has a stem, a system of branches, many branches, and the leaves are present. And the vegetative organs of the plant means the root, stem, leaves, they are all together called as vegetative organs. And reproductive organs means the flowers, fruits and seeds, they are called as reproductive organs because they take part in the process of reproduction, whereas vegetative part, it is like a somatic body cell, that is the outer part of the plant, but it does not involve any reproduction. An interesting fact is that the a very little early season rainfall. So before the season of rainfall, when a bit early the rain comes, what happens? The growth of the roots, it will be very fast, it will be very rapid, and it will grow very well. The all the dry roots and land crops and pastures, the place where the cows, it will be filled with grass. So such places, when they get a early rainfall before the rainfall season, the root grows well. So this is a fact. Next is regions of a typical root. So there are four regions, namely the root cap. It is the first one. So on the end of the root, if you see, means the root cap is present. It is a cap-like structure that covers the end of the root, and the function of the root apex is to protect the root itself. So that is the function of the roots. To protect the end root apex of the root is the function of the root cap. The next zone of roots is called as meristematic zone or zone of cell division. So this is the growing tip where the root starts growing, and it lies beyond, above the root cap. This region is present, and the function of the meristematic zone is the cells present in the meristematic are very small, they are very thin walled, and they have dense protoplasm. So what happens, for cell division purposes, for rapid cell division, this place is being used. The third region is zone of elongation. So this region lies above the meristematic zone, and this cells present in this zone, they help to increase the size of the root, and the function of this region is it helps to grow the length of the root. So it helps the growth of root length. So for longer roots to grow, this zone is very helpful. Next zone is zone of maturation. So in this zone, what happens? The cells start differentiating, start distinguishing, and they get mature. The root hairs will be present in this zone of maturation. So the root hairs, what they do, they help to absorb the water and minerals from the soil. Here is the diagram of different regions of a root, typical root. So on the tip you can see the root cap, and after that the region of meristematic activity where the cell division is very rapid, and region of elongation. So this region of elongation only helps to increase the length of the root, and the root hairs are present over the area of region of maturation. So in this region, the cells get mature and they have root hairs around them, and that root hairs will help in the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So this is another, do you know that regularly eating the lotus roots, some of the health benefits are happening, and they protect the environment, they maintain the blood pressure, and the immunity is being developed. So these are some of the benefits of regularly eating cooked lotus roots. I hope you would have understood the different concepts of morphology of flowering plants. So in this unit we saw about first what is morphology, and then the plant morphology, and the three types of plants, that is herbs, shrubs and trees, and finally what are herbs, their examples, and after that shrubs and their examples, trees and their examples, and after that we saw a few did you know, and we then discussed about the parts of a flowering plant. So in a plant, what are the parts that are present, and then we saw about the root system and the shoot system. In shoot system we saw about the vegetative organs of the plant, and reproductive organs of the plant, and after that finally we saw about the different regions of a typical root. So these are the different concepts that we gone through this lesson till now. So all of you do your PDF works. So the classwork will be given through PDF in your WhatsApp group. So copy all those things without any spelling mistake. Go through your lessons properly. Read all the concepts and learn the spellings also. Thank you, children.